Spoiler alert, Waluigi is not going to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a playable character.
Well, why don't nobody like a Luigi? I'll just go into Mario Tennis Aces instead. That's a better game, right?
Says no one ever.
But welcome everybody. I'm Ty the Guy 200, and with me we have Demeech, and today we're going to go over some Smash Ultimate predictions. Now, we kind of wanted to hold off on this until we got a few more character reveals. So we waited until the King K. Rool trailer came out so that we could kind of get a better idea of who actually might be playable. And I think Demeech and I have done our homework, and we have a pretty solid list of who we think might be in Smash. But this is why we're doing this video, because both of us don't agree on the same topic. So we're going to explore why we think either one character can be in Smash or one character won't be in Smash. And we'll see who's right as time passes by. You ready, Demeech?
I'm ready. So what's the
All right.
first character on your list? And we're going to start off with Echo Fighters because there's not that much can be said about their movesets, because truth is Echo Fighter is just a fancy way of saying clones. So we're going to go over those first and then the new fighters. So who is the first Echo Fighter we have?
I'm going to skip the first two because I think we'll get to them when we cover the newcomers. But with that said, I put Ken as an Echo Fighter for Ryu. To be honest, I think this is kind of a no-brainer. Ken is basically a clone of Ryu in the Street Fighter games. This would be very easy for Sakurai to add in. The only thing they would have to work on are like his taunts and his animations and stuff like that, his Final Smash. But honestly, I could really see Ken happening. How about you?
That sounds pretty plausible to me, but could you see Chun-Li instead?
I'm gonna say no, because Chun-Li I don't see as an Echo Fighter. In the Street Fighter games, she has her own completely new moveset. Would I like to see Chun-Li in Smash Brothers? Of course, like she's one of my favorites. But to be honest, I don't see her as an Echo for Ryu. It just wouldn't make sense as of right now. I could see her more as an assist trophy, but
Could you see Chun-Li?
no.
But yeah, I could see Ken as an Echo Fighter for Ryu. I don't think we'll get any more Street Fighter representation. This is kind of the ones where I wouldn't be surprised if he got in, and I wouldn't be surprised that if he wasn't in the game, and I wouldn't really be too disappointed if he wasn't in the game either.
Right on. Well, I think we're kind of on the same page for that one. This one, I think I'm a little bit more 50-50 on. This is another easy Echo, in my opinion, and I'm not really sure why this character wasn't in Smash 4 in the first place, because it's so obvious, but I think I have an idea of why it didn't happen. It's Miss Pac-Man for an Echo for Pac-Man. I want to hear your thoughts first on this one.
Miss Pac-Man? So with Miss Pac-Man, I think the reasoning was because if you notice about Namco, they tend to ignore Miss Pac-Man, I'm assuming because of the whole controversy with the Bally Midway distribution.
The Bally Midway.
But
Right.
they do have some advertisement for it, like they have the mobile games, but she hasn't been in any games recently. And this is kind of the same thing with the Ken thing, only if she's not in, I would be kind of disappointed, but I'd actually be surprised if she was in the game.
I would be surprised too. I'm not saying she's high on my list, but I'm saying that she's super possible, because she honestly would be super easy to add in. Like, first off, she still has Pac-Man's same body shape. They would only have to change her boots, her face, add the bow tie, and some new animations. Maybe even give her her items from her games instead of Pac-Man's items. And that's pretty much it. But I don't know if either Sakurai would do it or Namco would do it, just because of that Bally Midway controversy. I hope I'm wrong, but you know.
I hope I'm wrong too, but it would be a nice addition, and it makes absolute sense to add Miss Pac-Man as an Echo Fighter. Now, what about another third-party Echo Fighter that everyone's been talking about recently? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, He's a little bit farther down the list, but I guess we could talk about him right now. I think what Dimitri is referring to is Shadow the Hedgehog from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. So I guess I'll cover this first, since I'm the Sonic fan here. I'm not the biggest fan of Shadow. I just don't really like his character that much. But there are some really big possibilities that Shadow can be coming as an Echo Fighter for Sonic. One of the big red flags is that Knuckles, rest in peace, is an assist trophy in Smash. And it's kind of weird because we still haven't seen Shadow's assist trophy, and now we have Knuckles as an assist trophy. And it would be really easy to make Shadow an Echo Fighter for Sonic. So I'm 100% thinking he's in the game as an Echo. I really would prefer Tails and Knuckles as playable characters, but that's just me. Any Sonic representation is okay to me, just as long as he doesn't have any guns or anything like that.
Where's that damn Smash Ball?
Oh god, don't even get me started.
I know you can go on with Sonic all day, but truthfully,
Yeah.
I only like the older games. I like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, so I'm not too familiar about what happened after that. But I could definitely see Shadow, because a lot of people do like the character. I know you're not one of those. And would I've liked to see Knuckles as Tails as Echo Fighters? Sure, or have them be fighters in the game. But I really couldn't see them having the same moveset as Sonic, because they do have different characteristics. Shadow is more possible, since Sonic and Shadow are both hedgehogs, and both are similar in gameplay style.
I just wish that instead of an Echo Fighter, we would have gotten two brand new Sonic reps like Tails and Knuckles, because, you know, they're so cool and they have these different abilities, but maybe next time. But moving on from that, we have Isabelle as an Echo for Villager. Now, I think this is all but confirmed, to be honest with you. What about you, Dimitri?
I think it's the same situation as it is with Shadow. The assist trophy is missing in action. There hasn't been any mention of Isabelle being an assist trophy. There's been a replacement, which is Kapp'n. I can definitely see Isabelle happening in Smash Bros. As a fighter. And she was in Mario Kart too, so it makes more than enough sense to have her be a real Echo Fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I could definitely see that. And you don't need to think of a new moveset except for maybe the Balloon Fighter thing, but I could see her sharing the same moves with Villager.
I really think she's kind of the face of Animal Crossing next to a couple of other key characters, so I can definitely see her as an Echo Fighter. Now we're going into the final 5, and these, in my opinion, are either make or break. They may be in the game, they may not be, but it's highly likely. So I'm just going to get this out of the way. Dixie Kong as an Echo for Diddy and Donkey Kong. What do you think?
Let me think. Probably gonna happen.
You know, I want to say it's going to happen, but at the same time, I was thinking to myself, wouldn't she be in the King K. Rool reveal trailer? But then, the more I thought about it, I kind of was like, well, then in that case, Dark Samus should have been in the Ridley reveal trailer.
Right.
So, you know, it could be that case that she's coming. I could definitely see her using Donkey Kong's up B for her up B, because let's be honest, Donkey Kong kind of stole that from Dixie in the first place. But yeah, I could definitely see Dixie. I hope I'm right, because I've been asking for Dixie Kong for the longest.
And it only makes sense. We have K. Rool. We might as well have Dixie. And I'm pretty sure that Dixie is more iconic than K. Rool, because the last game K. Rool was in was Super Smash Bros. 4 as a trophy. And the last playable appearance, Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii.
Yeah, she has to be in, especially with the relevancy with Tropical Freeze. Next, we have Impa from the Legend of Zelda series as an Echo for Sheik. And possibly Cloud because of her sword. You don't have to count Cloud in if you don't want to, but she could be a Sheik
Link?
clone.
What about a Link clone? Link has a sword.
Yeah, I feel like since she's part of the Sheikah clan, it would fit more in line with her being a Sheik clone.
I could see that happening. I'm not too familiar with her, but she was requested and a lot of people talk about her. Easy addition, I could see that happening. but I can't see her being an Echo for Cloud.
It was just a possibility because of her sword. I honestly think she's just going to be an Echo for Sheik. These are the last 3 Echoes. I mean, we have 2 more, but we'll get to them in the newcomers list. We have Veriti from Kid Icarus Uprising as an Echo for Palutena. This one I was kind of on the fence of adding because she was on the list pretty high up there. I'm not really how high, but Sakurai did revitalize the Kid Icarus series, and Veriti is a pretty popular choice. What do you think?
So, with that being said, we already have an Echo fighter, which is Black Pit. Excuse me, Dark Pit. I just got confused with the Japanese name. But
It's okay.
I don't know. I couldn't see another Echo fighter, and I played Kid Icarus Uprising, but I think the selection of characters is fine that we have now for Kid Icarus, so I'd suggest they'd keep it that way, but adding another Echo fighter, it wouldn't hurt. I just don't think it's that likely, and I won't be too disappointed either.
I agree. The last 2, so we have Dunbin as an Echo for Shulk. Now, both of us are not familiar with the Xenoblade series, but I do remember Dunbin was one of the top requested Xenoblade characters to be in Smash, and he had a costume for him in Smash 4, so I'd say it's likely. And he uses the Monado too, so it'd be pretty easy.
Like you said, we're not familiar with Xenoblade, but if he was requested and he had a costume, it could be likely, but I won't be disappointed at all if he's not in the game.
Right. And the last Echo we'll be covering for now, this one I think both of us really want because we want more representation of this franchise. Black Shadow as an Echo for Captain Falcon. Now, I think we should just get the obvious joke out of the way and say yes, he does look like Batman.
He does.
But I just think he's a really cool character, and he is Captain Falcon's arch nemesis in the games, and it would kind of fit in with what people are assuming the theme of the game is with heroes versus villains. I don't know. What do you think? And before you go on, since Ganon's moveset is being tweaked slightly, this could be a good substitute for maybe, a version of Melee Ganon in Black Shadow. I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
So I could definitely see it happening with the whole heroes versus villains theme. We had a reveal of Ridley the first time, and then we had King K. Rool and Dark Samus. So I would not be surprised if we saw Black Shadow. And Samurai Goro, who I thought would be a good option as a fighter, is already deconfirmed to be an assist trophy, so I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so that's it for the Echoes for now. Now we're going to move into the thing that people are talking about the most, the newcomers. Now, we have quite a bit of newcomers on our list, but even though Sakurai did say that you shouldn't expect too many newcomers, keep in mind that, Smash 4 had like almost 20 newcomers or more than that. So the list that we have right now is less than that number, and it's around Melee's numbers of newcomers. So that's relatively low for the series. So we're not saying that every character that's on the list is going to make it in. We're just saying there's a possibility, and if they do all make it in, then more power to us. But I guess I'll start off with the one that everyone's wondering about, Geno. I think 100% he's happening.
As much as I wouldn't like it to happen, and I think there's better reps for Mario, I think that Geno is going to make it in, because for one, he was too requested on the list to completely ignore. He had a costume in Smash 4. It's just really likely that he's going to make it in. Now, my reasoning why I don't want him in the game is simple. He's been completely irrelevant to the Mario series. He was in one game, even though it was a cult classic. He hasn't done anything afterwards. Who do I think would be a better Mario RPG representative? Not from Mario RPG on the SNES. I'm just talking about all the Mario RPGs. I think Fawful would be the better one. But I really can't see him going in. But I think that Geno is definitely going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm more on the favorable side of Geno. I think he's actually a really cool character, and I think that he should have some sort of resurgence from Nintendo sometime soon. Maybe a Super Mario RPG remake under the Mario and Luigi franchise. I don't know. I'm just putting ideas out there, Nintendo. On the Switch, please. No 3DS games. Anyways, on to the next one. This is a franchise that we really don't know much about. Isaac from Golden Sun. He was another really heavily requested fighter. And I think it's time that we see this guy in action. I've seen what he can do in his games. I've done some of my research, and I think he would have a really unique moveset. What do you think?
So with Isaac, it's the same situation as the missing in action assist trophies. He was an assist trophy before, but he's absent now, and he was really requested on the fighter ballot, so I could see him happening for sure. And I know Nintendo probably won't make another Golden Sun, but people really like the character. I haven't played the game, but I think it's good to add a new representative from a new franchise. Or not new, but a new franchise to Smash Brothers.
It would help Golden Sun 2 get more recognition the same way Xenoblade did. But anyways.
And Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah, and Fire Emblem, of course. Next on the list is somebody that you and I really both want as a newcomer, and that is Paper Mario. I'll let you take it away first, because I know that you really, really want Paper Mario.
So with Paper Mario in the game, I think that there is still a lot of controversy with what happened to Paper Mario, so I'm not sure if it's likely to happen, but you actually thought I really wanted Paper Mario in, because I think it would be cool to have him, but there is another Mario representative, in fact, two even, that I want even more in the game.
Oh, well, I was assuming that you did really want Paper Mario in, but I guess I was wrong. Honestly, I see Paper Mario having a completely different moveset from regular Mario, and I think that he could add another really cool dimension to the cast. He would also be kind of like another Mr. Game & Watch flat character, but, paper. And yeah, I wouldn't mind if he used some of the abilities he had in the most recent Paper Mario games. I know those are really controversial, but a lot of the ideas that were presented in those games weren't bad, they were just poorly executed, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think Paper Mario has a good chance.
I could see him happening, but at the same time, there's another Mario representative that I think has a better chance. Even though some people may say that he was deconfirmed, I think Captain Toad has a chance of being a playable fighter.
And along with Captain Toad, we'll reveal another Echo fighter, Captain Toadette, as his Echo. Now, I originally thought, because I saw Captain Toad in the New Donk City level, he was deconfirmed. But now we have a little bit more hope, because, as a lot of people have pointed out, Toon Link is in the Spirit Tracks level when you're playing as different characters, and when you play as Toon Link in the Spirit Tracks level, Toon Link that is the conductor of the Spirit Tracks. So in the Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks stage, Toon Link is a conductor of that train, just like in the video game. When there's different fighters on board, but when you play as Toon Link on that level, the conductor changes into a different character from that game. So Dimitri and I have came to the conclusion that this is probably most likely the case for Captain Toad in the New Donk City level. If not, then we're completely wrong and we're idiots. But for now, I think it's safe to say that Captain Toad would have some sort of representation, especially since the final roster was decided in 2015 to 2016, and Captain Toad's game did come out around that time, so he would have been relevant. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
So, I'd love to see Captain Toad in the game. In fact, out of the Mario representatives, besides Waluigi, rest in paradise, he's the one I want the most. So with Captain Toad, I think his replacement in New Donk would be any of the other members of the Toad Brigade. You might have the Bank Toad or the one with the glasses.
Right.
So I could see that happening. And I could see Captain Toad as an Echo fighter. And there's no reason he shouldn't be in Smash Brothers either, since Nintendo released a port of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker
Right.
for the Switch
Yeah,
and 3DS.
I think it's just too much of a coincidence. I don't know. I feel like they're pushing Captain Toad to be the next, big Nintendo franchise. I would see this as the next big step. Speaking of small characters who are actually getting a lot of
Is this who I'm
recognition
thinking
nowadays.
Is that who I'm thinking about?
Does he have a bandana?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay. So then it's not who you were thinking about. It's Bandana Waddle Dee from the Kirby series. Yeah. This little guy's been requested for the longest. In all honesty, I can see it because Sakurai did create the character, and I could see a fun moveset around him. But at the same time, I think it's just kind of stupid, to be honest with you.
I feel the same way. I feel that Marks would be a way better character and have more
he
potential, but Bandana D has been so requested, and he's been in so many games recently that I could definitely see it happening. And I just kind of laugh if he was put in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid, but, I'm sure Sakurai could come up with a cool moveset for him. That I can't deny, but I don't know. I just feel like there's better Kirby reps, to be honest. But then again, the 2 out of the 3 Kirby reps are kind of villains, so it would be nice to have one more hero on board, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, but the way I kind of see Bandana D, it would be adding Spike from Super Mario Brothers with a top hat.
Yeah, that's true.
But I can definitely see it happening, considering the facts that he's been relevant in the games. He was in Return of Dreamland, then he was in Kirby Star Allies. He's been in a bunch of games recently, so there's no reason it won't happen. I just think it's kind of dumb.
I think it's dumb, but I think there's been a huge push for him, and I do think he's like an adorable character and stuff like that, and I think that, he's fine. I just feel like there's better Kirby reps. But speaking of villains, there might be another Zelda rep on the way, and his name is Skull Kid. So in the recent Direct, I didn't think anything of this before because I thought it was stupid. Sakurai kind of changed the place that he was in. He had like these pillows and these 2 chairs, and people were pointing at. Well, that's what people thought at first, but then people started piecing together that the 2 chairs represented the 2 fairies that Skull Kid had, and the pillows that were on the sofa were kind of the same color as Skull Kid himself. And at first I thought nothing of this because I thought it was ridiculous, but when Ridley was revealed, the aesthetic change was really different back when he was revealing Ridley. The wall was wooden, there were ropes everywhere, and there was a barrel seemingly teasing King K. Rool, but nobody really hopped on that. So I think this is really a teaser for Skull Kid to be in Smash, and I think he would be really cool. What do you think?
So I think he'd be really cool too. I think he's the best next Zelda rep to have. I love his design, and I could see definite unique move potential here. But it's the same situation with a lot of the other fighters. His assist trophy is not confirmed yet, so that means he's either not in the game as an assist trophy, but a character, or he just hasn't been announced as an assist trophy.
There is an item in Smash Ultimate that kind of replaces him in a way. It kind of does the same thing that he did in Smash 4.
The moon?
Where he just... No, not the moon. It's this mushroom that inverts the player's controls, like he did in Smash 4. So, there's a possibility that he's in there, I'm just saying. Let's go on the more obscure side, though.
Is this a small character I was thinking about that's not Bandana D?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's a little robot that still needs another chance. A little robot that I think will get his time in the spotlight. Because if he is introduced in Smash, he'll get a whole lot of new fans, and maybe his franchise will be resurrected again. I'm talking about Chibi Robo. Now, Demeech, you have a little bit more experience with the Chibi Robo franchise than I do, so I'll let you take over first.
And I watched the bit block, so that's another thing.
Yeah, okay.
So, with Chibi Robo and Smash, if the final ballot was decided in 2015, Ziplash just came out at that time, and he's really one of the few Nintendo reps that doesn't even have an assist trophy in the game. Like, at least have him as an assist trophy. He's nothing in the game. So with him having so many games, he's had a GameCube game, he had quite a few DS games. Yeah, there was a 3DS one, but I prefer not to talk about that. I could definitely see him in Smash, and we've seen Smash Brothers revive franchises that would have faded into obscurity in the West, like Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, and now they're getting more frequent releases. Fire Emblem's getting quite a few games. Xenoblade 2 came out for the Switch. It only makes sense to add Chibi Robo in if they want to save the franchise, because Nintendo hasn't done a good job promoting Chibi Robo at all. Sure, there was a GameCube one, but that was released in 2006. You know what else released in 2006? The Wii. So who's going to pick up a GameCube game in 2006 when the Wii is out on its way? And I know there's a backwards compatibility thing, but Nintendo didn't really advertise it. Then Chibi Robo Park Patrol, Walmart exclusive DS game. Guess what happened with that? It bombed. The sequel for that game never came to the US. We had some 3DS eShop game, and then we had the horrors known as Chibi Robo Ziplash. So if he is in Smash Brothers...
You're saying there was a Walmart exclusive Chibi Robo game?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No. You know what, we'll talk about that later, because we gotta move on. But,
I could go on with that kind of stuff all day, but in reality... I could see Chibi Robo being a good fighter.
Yeah, I can really see a cool moveset for him. I think he could be like one of those WTF characters that people aren't expecting and people think aren't going to be likely. I think it can happen, to be honest. You know, he's not relevant right now, but he was in 2015, and I do think Nintendo would want to revive that series because it seems like they're listening to fans more often. Most of the time. And it's anyways.
Nice one.
Next we have I think a really good candidate, and I really think he's going to be in the game for reasons I'm going to bring up. I just recently got you into this franchise, actually, and you love it. So it's the Chorus Men, not the Chorus Kids. Their official name is the Chorus Men.
I thought they were kids.
Okay. Yeah, but the official name is Chorus Men. So, yeah, anyways, I don't know if any of you remember, but back in the day there was a Gematsu leak that accurately, that it was a rumor that accurately predicted Palutena, Pac-Man, Mii Fighters, Shulk, and the other two fighters was Chrom and Chorus Men. Now, the first four fighters were confirmed for Smash. The weird part was Chrom and Chorus Men weren't. And it's kind of odd because this leaker predicted about 15 characters in the game, and he only got 2 wrong. And now that Chrom is an Echo Fighter in Smash Ultimate, that's leading me to believe that Chorus Men was cut out of Smash 4 for the same reason Ice Climbers was, because it's too many characters at the same time on one screen for the 3DS. But yeah, I think he could really represent the Rhythm Heaven franchise really well. He could kind of be like a Pac-Man, where he's kind of an amalgamation of the whole series. But what do you think?
So like you said, I just really got into Rhythm Heaven, and I think we definitely got to see some representation for this series. I mean, come on, Nintendo. It's the same situation with Chibi Robo. We recently had Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, which was pretty much Rhythm Heaven Ultimate. I know Nintendo's been making a lot of those games recently, but it only makes sense. I know a lot of people were saying Karate Joe, but considering that the Chorus Kids were planned... Excuse me, I'm never going to say Chorus Men. I'm just so used to saying Chorus Kids. So, if they were even planned for Smash 4, I could see them coming into the game. And considering the fact that Rhythm Heaven does not have any representation yet, it would be a really nice addition to have. Now, I would prefer Karate Joe because I think he's a cooler character and has more potential for a moveset, but considering that the Chorus Kids were planned, that's probably what's likely going to happen, and I'd be happy either way. I just hope Rhythm Heaven gets some representation.
I think, honestly, the Chorus Men are the face of the Rhythm Heaven series, to be honest with you. I think when people see them, they think Rhythm Heaven because their minigame is just so popular. So I think it makes sense for them to be the playable characters. And, you know, they did have trophies in Smash 4 on the 3DS that you could unlock. So that's even more proof that they might have been cut out. Okay, so Chorus Men, we think they're going to be in. Next, we have another fighting game rep that was also planned for Smash 4, but didn't make it in because Sakurai couldn't find a way, which is a little weird. But it's Heihachi from the Tekken series. I know you're not familiar with the Tekken series that much. I'm a casual Tekken fan, so I know a little bit about it. But I think Heihachi would be a really cool choice for a fighting game rep, especially since we have Street Fighter as well. And I think he would have a really unique moveset. Plus, he did have that B-Fighter costume in Smash 4, so what do you think?
Just because of that last reason, I think he has potential to be in the game, but I'm not sure if he will be in the game because there really wasn't a whole lot of demand for him, and he's just another Namco character. I know Tekken's really popular, so it's just another one of those situations where I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't happen, nor would I really care if he made it in or wasn't in the game at all.
Right. So I guess we're kind of 50-50 on Heihachi. Like, he could happen, he can't, like, he wouldn't happen. Like, I think I'm more on the side that he will happen because he was planned like the Chorus Men, but we'll see. Now, we're heading into the final three, which are all third-party, except for one. I mean, it's technically third-party, but you would consider this one indie. Yes, that's right. Since Shovel Knight was kind of debunked... Oh, hold on. I personally can't really care. I haven't played Shovel Knight yet. Dimitri has, so he was really bummed out about that.
Oh, it was.
But, to be honest, I think a better indie rep is on their way, which was voted a little bit more than Shovel Knight, and that is Shantae from the Shantae series. Now, you may be wondering, well, if Shovel Knight was deconfirmed as an assist trophy, wouldn't Shantae be as well? Maybe. But I'm going to try and make a point here. Shantae has had a storied history with Nintendo all the way back to the Game Boy Color. Her games have always been on Nintendo platforms. She's had that Nintendo loyalty. She has that seniority that Shovel Knight doesn't have. She has a really unique moveset. She has a really unique character design. And I have a theory. I know this is not going to be true at all, but if it is, then wow. So DK's new Final Smash is just like Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, where he gets straight to the punch, which I find a little weird because everybody loved his Final Smash from Brawl and Smash 4. Then I realized, oh, wait a minute. Shantae has a mini game where she does belly dancing. You have to press buttons for her in order to get more money. And I was thinking, if that's her Final Smash, then she took Donkey Kong's Final Smash. That's a theory. I don't think that's going to happen exactly, and that's not proof that Shantae's going to be in the game. But there's also proof that WayForward, her developers, have been super, super silent since E3, which is really strange. And she was one of the top picks in the ballot. So I can see her as Nintendo's first indie rep.
I can see Shantae happening too, and I think it would be a really cool addition to have. Sure, I don't agree with your theories, but I think it's a 50-50 chance of happening, because I really don't think it's near a lock, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened either. And I'd like to see her in the game. I think she'd have a unique move potential, and it would also raise the Game Boy Color game even more in price if she's included in the game.
And that Game Boy Color game is not that good. Trust me, it's not worth the money. Just get it on the 3DS eShop if you're curious. If you guys are curious, I think a lot of the Shantae games are just kind of mediocre, if I'm being honest. The only one that's really great is Pirate's Curse, which kind of deviates from the original Shantae formula. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. The final two. Now, these two I think are super likely, and they're both third party. The first obvious one I'm going to say is Rayman and Globox as his Echo Fighter. Demeech, give me your 2 cents on this.
If that happened, I would be super excited because that's a third-party rep I want the most in the game. Well,
Oh, so do I. Well,
I think it's tied between one other third-party representative, but considering
Yeah.
Nintendo's strong relationship with Ubisoft recently, considering that there was a Mario and Rabbids game, there was also this Starlink thing where Fox McCloud is in the game, and even that leak that Artsy Omni made that I was so upset about when I was 15, I can see it happening, and I'd love to have it happen because Rayman is just such a cool character and he has so much potential for a moveset. The only concern I have is how would the amiibo work, but sometimes
that's exactly what I was going to say.
you shouldn't ask questions and just hope for the best. So I think it's a 75% chance he'll be in the game, and Rabbids will be an assist trophy.
And to that amiibo thing, I say screw the amiibo, because Rayman will just be in the game. Like, that's all we kind of want at this point. I think he was one of the most popular third-party choices because of Artsy Omni. Thank you for that. And yeah, if he's not in, then Sakurai really isn't listening. Because if K. Rool is in, I'm pretty sure Rayman's in, and Globox as an Echo would just make sense. Like he has basically the same moveset with just different animations. Now, this is a character that I think will be the huge reveal. Like this is going to be the huge third-party character.
It's gonna be huge!
Even bigger than Rayman. This character that I'm talking about is the one and only Banjo Kazooie.
So, the truth is, we already have the Duck Hunt dog, but I think Banjo and Kazooie are way different than those characters. And you gotta admit, Banjo and Kazooie have been highly requested ever since Smash Bros. Started, because there was a strong relationship with Nintendo and Rare at one point. And now, considering that Nintendo and Microsoft are all buddy-buddy, making fun of Sony, and that Phil Spencer said he'd be fine with Banjo and Kazooie in Smash Brothers.
Twice, if I may add.
And even considering that there were still Banjo-Kazooie games on Nintendo platforms after Microsoft bought out Rare. Sure, they were Game Boy Advance games, but they still count. So I could see it happening, but at the same time, I wouldn't be too surprised if it didn't happen, consider licensing issues.
Well, I think, to be honest, I think licensing issues aren't really a problem anymore. Like, this is Masahiro Sakurai we're talking about. He's the guy who got Cloud into Smash Brothers. I know you and I don't know Cloud like that, but Square Enix is a really, really strict and uptight company, and they don't just lend their characters out to nobody. So the fact that Sakurai got a hold of him from Square Enix, I don't know. I feel like Banjo-Kazooie is a lock-in at this point, especially with how buddy-buddy Nintendo and Microsoft have been. I, for the life of me, can never see Steve from Minecraft. I hope that never happens. If he does have to be in, he has to be an assist trophy, but Banjo-Kazooie just have so much. They would really represent the N64 era of Nintendo, to be honest with you. And they would fill in that third-party rep really perfectly, and they would really be a unique character. And I feel like next to them and Rayman, those would be the huge, huge new third-party characters. Any other thoughts on Banjo-Kazooie before we go into the wild cards?
So I think it would be a little bit weird seeing Banjo and Kazooie in a game with Mario, considering the fact that we haven't had a Banjo-Kazooie game on a Nintendo home console since the N64. So that'll be a huge, who are you again?
I don't know, Mario. Who are these?
So
yeah, it would be.
That'd be kind of weird, but I'd be accepting towards it. And a lot of people want Banjo and Kazooie in the game. If I got to choose a rare representative, I'd choose Conker, but he would not fit into Smash Brothers, considering his game.
Yeah. Conker could be an assist trophy with his saw, just like going around the stage and sawing people. Like no blood or anything, but like he'd like, you know, KO people off the stage. I think that would be really awesome.
Or just hit him with a frying pan.
Oh yeah, or that, or maybe even the Great Mighty Pooh, but that might be too much for Nintendo.
Maybe in a Wario fighting game.
Oh yeah, definitely. But Banjo Kazooie, I think, is really likely, as well as Rayman. Now, we got rid of all the newcomers that we think are going to be likely. Now we're going to go into the wild cards. Two characters that I personally have wanted since Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Do you want to introduce them, or should I?
I'll introduce the first one, and then you can introduce the second. So, Crash Bandicoot, as a third-party fighter, and this was the one that was tied with Rayman. If we got either of these, I'd be super excited. But with Crash Bandicoot, we got the Insane Trilogy on the Switch, and considering that each fighter is a representation for each generation, you know, Mario is a generation of the NES, Mega Man, then you got Sonic for the 16-bit. I think we need a 5th generation representative. And if we have Banjo-Kazooie or Crash, that would do just that. And Crash is still relevant like right now. He's really relevant. He just got a port of Insane Trilogy for the Switch. And it's been the best-selling Switch game for quite some time now. Not best-selling of all time, but it's still selling really well.
Here's my problem with Crash, though. As much as I would love for him to be in there, he's my number one third-party choice. He's not my number one third-party choice that's likely, because back in 2015 and 2016, Crash Bandicoot was dead. Let's not forget that. Crash Bandicoot was dead. He was a pipe dream of mine because I grew up with the character, but nobody before the Insane Trilogy was talking about him. Like, sure, he's an icon for gaming and stuff like that, but he was in the polls. I think he was behind Bayonetta or something. I forgot. But I don't know. My question is, would have Sakurai considered Crash if he saw him on the polls or not? And, you know, I don't know. There's also a possibility, because I remember in Brawl that it was delayed because they wanted to add Sonic in last minute. So it could be maybe that kind of situation where they kind of add Crash and Spyro in last minute.
But now they have DLC, so they could just do that. So now that you mention it, Spyro, same situation, except I prefer to see Crash over Spyro, because I don't feel Spyro is quite as iconic. But either way, I'd be happy to see both of them.
I feel like both of them. I feel like Activision as a company would push for both Crash and Spyro, only because they're releasing the Spyro Reignited trilogy as well. So they're kind of reinvigorating newfound interest in both of these characters. And it would make sense as like a marketing strategy for Activision, and just kind of makes sense to please the fans in Smash Brothers, just to put Crash and Spyro in there. They're big mascots in gaming. Maybe Spyro not as much as Crash, but Spyro did have a big impact in 3D gaming at the time. I would love to see both of them in. I mean, the safe third-party choice for me, choices for me would be Banjo and Rayman, just because I think the relationship between Ubisoft and Microsoft is so strong with Nintendo. I'm not so sure about Activision and Nintendo right now, so I don't know. Sakurai can pull a fast one and really surprise us. I mean, he's done it before. I don't know if he'll do it again, but man, can you imagine that reveal trailer just with Crash and Spyro? That would honestly make my year, because I've been asking for them for such a long time.
If anything comes worse to worse, I think they'd be DLC. But it's a 50-50, not even 50-50. I don't think it's likely, but I'd love to see it.
I don't like the idea of DLC for them, because it's just like, oh, they're not in the base roster now and stuff like that. And like, you know, I kind of want to have a poster with all the characters, you know? And if they come out with a poster in December and then Crash and Spyro are added later on, I'm not gonna have the full experience of that poster. I don't know. I'm just speaking from my nerd logic right here, but I just really want Crash and Spyro in the game, man. If they're not in the game and there's no DLC, I'm okay with Rayman and Banjo, because I really want those two as well. But man, if they're not in the base, Crash and Spyro aren't in the base game, add them in as DLC, please, Sakurai, please. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up? Like, any other fighters that we didn't mention that you think have a chance, or...
I think we mentioned pretty much all of them, and like we said, these are characters that we think are likely to be in the game, but that doesn't mean all of them. Of course not all of them are going to make it in, but these are just predictions, and it's fun to speculate. However, I do have a good idea for the next video. Characters that will not be in Smash Ultimate.
Oh man, that's gonna be fun.
Well, anyways... What?
Funky Kong.
Funky Kong could be pretty likely, but as an Echo fighter, so there's really not a whole lot to say about that. But anyways, let's wrap up this video. I'm Demeech.
Alright, and I'm Ty the Guy 2800.
And now let's go talk about the future of Chibi Robo, and pretend that Ziplash never happened.
Ah.